One thing I want to say really quickly before we enter into this video, I understand completely this content is not for everyone. None of you are subscribed to this channel to watch content that is sad. I'm gonna be entirely honest, I produce content where I'm naked. I produce crazy storytime videos, and you guys, I love making those videos so much. That's why I'm a YouTuber, because I love doing that, okay? But what is more important to me is showing you guys who I am. I want to show every facet of who I am, every facet of my personality, every facet of my life. And something happened earlier this week that I haven't tweeted about yet, I haven't Snapchatted about yet, and it was terrifying at first, but it stuck with me. In a nutshell, what happened was I was home alone in my apartment one day, and somebody who was mentally ill tried entering my apartment, was looking through my windows. I had an interaction with them. It was scary, okay? I live in a gated community. I'm not sure how they got in. And let me just say, because I am listening to myself speak, at no point during this story am I trying to say that you should be fearful of people like this. Mental illness is a thing that a lot of people struggle with. They're normal people as well. They deserve love. They deserve care. They deserve affection. At no point, and I want to make this clear, am I trying to make you guys think this person's weird, this person's scary, I should be scared of people who have mental illness. That's not what I'm saying at all, okay? This story, I walked away from it thinking, that's sad. Okay, and I do want to talk about it. Without further ado, if you're interested in hearing this story, let's get right into it, okay? You guys, so, like I said, I was home alone one night, and of course, this would fucking happen when I'm home alone. But anyway, I was actually prepping for a YouTube video, reacting to gay porn, hashtag typical Jack Merridew video. As I get ready for YouTube videos, I sprawl out like the lazy-ass person that I am across this bed, and I wait for my hair to dry, and I watch videos, YouTube videos. This particular time I was watching The Bachelor, because what am I gonna do, stare at the fucking wall? No. But I had my headphones in, and as I was watching, I heard a loud noise, and it actually scared me. I pulled out my headphones, and I was like, oh, like, what the fuck was that? But you guys, I live in LA, it's a loud-ass city, so there's a train that goes by my apartment at all hours of the night, so I'm used to hearing that. I share walls with my neighbors. If they turn on the shower, I can hear the turning of the shower knob. So I'm used to hearing sounds, okay? And I couldn't tell what it was. I had my headphones in, so I was like, okay, mental note, heard a loud sound. But you know what? I wanted to get back to The Bachelor, and about a minute or two later, I heard a noise again. And this time I took out my headphones, I actually unplugged them, and I was like, we're done with this headphone stuff for now, because if something happens, I want to hear. I listened for a little while. My roommate, again, out of the fucking country, so it was definitely not my roommate who was making noises. I'm also weird when it comes to locks. I lock like every potential lock, so I knew no one was in this apartment. So there I am, I'm listening, and I started watching The Bachelor again, and I heard the sound one final time, and at this point I realized somebody was fucking with my front door. Whether they were leaning against it, whether they were just pushing on it, whether they were just turning the doorknob, I could not tell, but I knew somebody was touching my front door. I got out of this bed, I went into the hallway leads directly to the front door, and I just stared at my front door, okay? And that was when I saw the doorknob jiggle a little bit, okay? And there is nothing quite as terrifying as seeing your doorknob jiggle to your front door late at night when you know your roommate thousands of miles away. And in that moment, I was thinking to myself, I was like, who the fuck could this be? Could this be security? There's security patrolling this complex. Could this be security? The only logical thing I could think of is it was maintenance. Maybe my roommate had called maintenance and they were showing up now to fix something, and, you know, I didn't hear them knocking, so now they're just entering with a key that they have. But again, it was late. It was way past maintenance hours, so I continued to stare at the front door, and I heard the jiggling again. And then it stopped, and I remember thinking to myself, okay, maybe they left. But you guys, another thing you need to know is there is a window right next to my front door. So if you are standing at the front door, a shadow from the light outside of my apartment is cast through my kitchen window, and I can see like the shadow of a figure across my kitchen wall. And I saw that somebody was there, and at one point the shadow got bigger, which is terrifying because it meant they were getting closer to my window, and I could tell at one point they were kind of looking inside. And then they came back to the front door and they started jiggling it again, and it wasn't a loud jiggle, it wasn't forceful, it wasn't crazy, they weren't trying to push in, they were just seeing if the door was unlocked. Which, do you know when somebody seems to be trying to be quiet about what they're doing so they don't wake you up, so that they don't startle you, so that they don't scare you? That's what was happening, okay? And then that stopped, and there was a faint knock on the door. At that point, I said to myself, okay, I'm gonna go look through the fucking peephole and see who this is. You guys, it's dark, okay? I can't tell exactly who is standing outside of my fucking door. Also, I don't know what my neighbors look like 100%, okay? I have seen them in passing. I know they have a fucking dog. That's pretty much all I know. First of all, you're not even allowed to have a dog in this apartment complex, so I don't know how they have a fucking dog. But I don't know exactly what they look like. But I saw somebody who kind of resembled my neighbor, so I was relieved. So I opened the door, okay? And immediately when I opened the door, I realized it was not my neighbor, okay? This was clearly a homeless person, which it's a little bit jarring when you open the door and you expect to see your neighbor and it's not them. And I could tell that they were homeless, not judging a book by their cover, but they had many layers of clothing on, multiple jackets. They were soaking wet. They were not clean shaven. They didn't look like they had showered in a long time. They had multiple belongings with them, backpacks, like they were, you know, you could just tell. And you guys, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist. I can't diagnose a mental illness just by looking at you. Clearly, I'm not qualified to do so, but this person clearly was not picking up on social cues. They were not the clearest. They kept repeating the same things. They were unaware that what they were doing wasn't quite socially acceptable, so I can only go with my gut and say that this person struggled with a mental illness. Immediately what they said when I opened the door was, "Where's Sandra?" And I don't know of a Sandra. I don't know what my neighbors look like, let alone if any of them has the name Sandra. So I remember I just looked back at him and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, what did you say?" And he was like, "Where's Sandra?" And I was like, "Oh, sorry, I don't know a Sandra." And he started introducing himself. His name was SB. He kept repeating that over and over again. And at one point when he asked again, "Where's Sandra?" I had said to him like, "Sorry, man, like I don't know of a Sandra." And he said like, "Oh, well, she lives here." And I was like, "No, this is my apartment. I live here with my roommate." And that was when, again, he looked through the windows and I realized he wasn't trying to break into my apartment. He was looking through the windows because he was looking at all the belongings in the apartment. Because my roommate has candles on the windowsill and shot glasses. And he was pointing at them all and saying, "No, these are Sandra's things. I recognize them." And this is where the story gets a bit... It's a sad story, okay? This is where it kind of really... I don't know. Like, this story, not to sound like a bitch, but this story, like, kind of breaks my heart a little bit. After he finally kind of grasped the fact that these belongings aren't that of the woman he was looking for, he looked at me and went, "Wow, I really hope she didn't move then." And you guys, I moved into this apartment, what, like 5 months ago? So clearly, somebody lived here before me. And I don't know, maybe it was that person. But he then explained that she used to let him stay with her whenever he needed to stay there. And he was pointing into my apartment being like, "Oh yeah, that's where, like, it's in here. Like, she would let me sleep in here." After that, he walked away. Like, literally, he just walked away without saying anything else. He just started back down the stairs and out into the rain. And I'm mad at myself that I didn't say, "Hey, do you want anything to eat? Do you want me to call you an Uber?" Because, like, deep down, I feel like he was coming here as like a kind of last resort. It was terrible weather. It was pouring rain outside. And this was always his last resort. This person would let him stay with her. And she was no longer there. And obviously he didn't have a phone, so he couldn't call and ask. And I don't know, did he spend his last bit of money, you know, on a bus to get here? And now where's he gonna go? You know? And I don't know. That's just upsetting for me to think about, because LA is full of homeless people, okay? I had never, I've been to New York City and there are homeless people in New York City, but LA is different. A lot of mental illness and a lot of people who are not fortunate in any way, shape, or form. Hollywood Boulevard, the place with the Walk of Fame with all the stars. If you've never been to LA, you don't realize that is flooded with homeless people. It's flooded with drug addicts. I was just at a diner the other day, and there was a homeless woman there, and she was just talking to us like we understood what she was saying. She was like, "Oh, you look just like Jeff. Have you talked to Jeff recently? Oh, so-and-so he's fucking so-and-so, which is why he kicked me out of the house." It's just like, ultimately with this video, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm on some moral pedestal over here. I'm not trying to preach. The video is just my way of saying, just a reminder, for you guys to be kind to one another, okay? Moving to LA has shown me, since I left my little bubble of security that I grew up in, it's just like the world can be unkind to a lot of people. And a lot of people don't have their health, they don't have finances, they don't have family, okay? And I know a lot of people, they see a homeless person, they say like, oh, this person makes me uncomfortable, I don't want to deal with them. Or they see that person who's sitting at their lunch table who has nowhere else to sit, and they make fun of them or something like that because they want them to leave, they want them to go away. But the truth of the matter is, like, we can pretend these people don't exist, but they still do, okay? And everyone has a mother and a childhood and a past, and everyone deserves to be loved for and cared. So it's just a nice little friendly reminder just to be kind to people and maybe befriend somebody who you wouldn't normally befriend. Everyone has feelings, okay? Everyone cries when you upset them, and they bleed when you cut them. So just a little reminder to just look out for each other, okay? Because, I don't know, sometimes it makes a world of a difference, okay? So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I apologize again that it wasn't fun. It wasn't a fun video. I'm not having fun right now. But I don't know, it's just what I've been thinking. It's been on my mind. So believe me, my content on YouTube isn't going to change. Like, if I have something to say like this, I will say it. But I'm going to go back to being crazy and ridiculous on Friday. Just wanted to say this, and I've said my piece, and I hope I didn't sound preachy or anything like that. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.